right, before Cienna gets to the microphone, I remember asking you guys earlier to please bring down your volume. I honestly need you guys to do that at this time. There are people that are recording, people that are trying to hear the speaker. Not everyone's going to be as loud as I am right now, so please be respectful and quiet. It's still not quiet. I need you to bring your volume down a little bit more. And for those of you guys who are in the back, I can still hear you, so please be quiet. All right, Cienna, you can come to the stage now.
I need to count to 3. I think she said be quiet. I'm just kidding. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank all of you guys for coming out tonight because as someone who has been really close to a lot of people who have battled cancer, it truly means a lot to see this many people coming together to raise awareness and stuff. And I also wanted to say a quick thank you to my wonderful Outdoor Adventure Program family. If you guys could make some noise. I'm actually an apprentice trip leader with the Outdoor Adventure Program, and this weekend is our last apprentice training trip. And we're going to Roanoke River to go canoeing, and we were originally, because of the storms, it got moved, but originally we were going to leave right after I was done here, and the drive there is like 2 to 3 hours, and then the paddle to our campsite once we get there is like 2 hours, so we would have been like canoeing at midnight till like 2 a.m. with rain, so thank God that it got moved, but thank you guys for coming and making it a priority to come support me, because you guys know this is not easy. I wanted to start off by telling you guys about my Aunt Michelle. I was born in New York, and she was there like from the minute I was born till when I moved to Virginia when I was 5. And she is a survivor of breast cancer. And it's really inspiring to see her, like whenever I go back, just to see that she's doing so well and she's cancer-free now. The next person I wanted to tell you guys about was my best friend of 14 years, Amanda Downing. She is a survivor of brain cancer. The cool thing about her is that she actually got to grant a wish with Make-A-Wish Foundation. And she loves to sing, so they granted her wish to sing in a recording studio, but they took that to extremes and picked her up in a limo, took her on a shopping spree, picked her out a new outfit, and then took her to record her CD, and then took her home in the limo. So it was really cool as one of her best friends to like see how happy that made her. And she also has her own commercial for this event that we did last year called Walk for Wishes, and I got to be a part of her commercial. It's really cool to see it on TV, because I've never really seen myself on TV before, so that's something new. And the last person I wanted to touch on was the person who I'm mainly focusing on tonight, my best friend Carlos Geller. I met Carlos my junior year in high school. He moved to Richmond from Illinois, and we instantly got close from my junior year. And our senior year, we actually had our first period class together, so I got to sit right next to him and start every single day next to him. And senior year was really hard for me because I had a lot of personal things happen, but whenever I would come in upset, Carlos was sitting right next to me and would always have something to say to make me feel better, whether it just be cracking jokes, acting like the goofball he was, or complimenting me, ranging from, you look beautiful today, to what's cooking good looking, and did it hurt when you fell from heaven? So that always made me smile. But unfortunately, on the second half of our senior year, Carlos started missing a lot of school, so it had a lot of us really curious. And eventually we found out that he had really bad back pain. And so we figured that it was he wanted to be a Marine, so he'd been training. And we thought he was pulling a muscle, so he went to therapy for a little bit, and it wasn't working. It was actually just making it worse. So he got an MRI, and he turned 18 April 8th, 2014, and was diagnosed with stage 4 Ewing sarcoma just 4 days later on April 12th. And for those of you who don't know, Ewing sarcoma is a really rare bone cancer, mainly in kids, I'm pretty sure. But it was really hard to hear the news because we knew it was like a really, I don't know the word, I don't want to say deadly, but it was a really bad cancer. And so, but he kept a really positive attitude through his whole fight. He got to walk at graduation, and that was probably one of my proudest moments, just to see him walk across the stage and accept his diploma, and see thousands of people cheering for him as he shook our principal's hand and accepted that diploma and walked off. And he spent the summer in and out of the hospital getting treatments, and it started getting better, but then it was going away. And a few weeks later, he got another MRI, and there was more tumors. So unfortunately, it started going downhill from there. He spent the better half of the fall in the hospital. He spent Christmas in the hospital. Unfortunately, I had to leave for school, so I couldn't see him as much, but I made my efforts to see him before I left for school, on my breaks, and then when I needed to come home. He never, when we were in the hospital, it was never anything about how he had cancer. We would always just talk about school. He would ask me how ODU is. He had Nerf guns in his room, so he would shoot them out the window when he got bored. And he would also tell me how hot his nurses were. He had a really big sense of humor. And then in January, I got a phone call saying that if you want to see Carlos, now is the time. So immediately I bought a bus ticket for the next morning, and I got there on a Thursday. And when I walked in the hospital room, he, it wasn't like the other times. He wasn't very present. His lungs were filled with fluids. He had a tube in his throat. It was just different. But that same day, a canine police officer came in the room and brought a canine dog, and it was his lifelong dream to become a canine police officer in the Marines. So the fact that they brought that dog just to make him happy was probably one of the most emotionally, in a good way, things that I've ever seen, because he sat up on his bed, and I had not seen him sit up, and he was playing with the dog, and then the officer declared him an official canine police officer and gave him a badge. So he is now officially up in heaven, a canine police officer for all those dogs that lost their lives. On February 3rd, 2015, Carlos took his last breaths, but I don't think he lost his battle with cancer. He is not suffering anymore. He has no pain. He is up in heaven with the Lord, and that's the grand prize right there. And if I could give you guys any advice for people who have relatives or friends that have cancer, just be there for them. I can't tell you how great it feels for his parents and his friends and family to just tell me how much of a light I was in his life. I didn't even know, but they always tell me, and it just makes me feel like a much better person that I was there for him when he needed it most. Thank you guys again, and I hope you have a great night.